We are about to unpack motherhood. Join us in this Q&A where we share an unfiltered version of motherhood. And I have with me here today a special guest. Cheers. And it's yours truly.
Sasha.
Thank you. Alright, let's get into the video, guys.
Let's go. Alright, so I'll be asking her a couple questions as she's a first time mom. And we'll see how that goes. Alright, so the first question from me is, how did you feel when you first found out you were going to be a mom?
So when I first found out that I am pregnant, of course I was excited. It's something that I've looked forward to. Yes, you're married, so that's a part of the deal, right? That's a part of the package. So honestly, when I said I look forward to that, but you don't just look for something, you plan and you prepare. So that was something I was planning and preparing for. So when I found out that day, I was excited, but I wasn't too excited because it was very early. I started testing very early, so when I recognized that, I was excited, but I was holding a little piece of it just in case, right? You understand that just in case something, yes. So of course I was excited when I first found out.
Oh, I heard you say preparing. What did you prepare?
So motherhood, for some, it might just be, just having a child, but motherhood is a great responsibility when you become a mom. So for me, I wanted to be prepared, not just financially but emotionally, all of the Kali. You want to be prepared for that child. That child didn't ask to be here. You're bringing a child into this world, and then there is a whole lot. I'm still learning and growing, of course, but there's a whole lot to that. So I was making preparation for that moment.
All right, awesome. So, was your journey to motherhood planned? Well, we just did that, obviously.
I can respond to that.
Or did it come as a surprise?
It was not a surprise. It was a planned out journey because I prayed about it. Something, as a Christian, I always want to put things to God and His will must be done. So it was something I fast for 21 days for. Wow. So I pray about it, and not just fast and pray, because faith without work is dead, right? So after I did all of that, I changed my diet, and while I was changing my diet, not to become a vegetarian or anything of that sort, I was just trying to eat healthier, because I always try to eat healthy, but I was trying to be much more healthier. And then I was changing out my deodorants and so forth to more natural stuff, and I ran into this book. It starts with the egg, and that was the end of it, because when I saw that book, I didn't saw the book, I actually saw a YouTuber lady. She went through IVF and all of that was failed, and she ran into that book, and eventually she got pregnant. So she was talking about her success story, and I was listening to it and I was like, wow. So when I saw that, I said, oh, I need to get this book. But I already listed everything that she said, and that was where it all began.
Oh wow. So ladies, you heard, just in case any of you are planning, yeah, that book sounds interesting and sounds like it helped a lot.
It is interesting because it says it starts with the egg, meaning that a child doesn't begin when the egg and the sperm come together and fuses. Your preparation start before you even get to that stage.
Oh, so you're referring to preparation.
So you want to make sure your eggs are healthy and all of that. And I know I'm not promoting the book, I'm just saying it's a very good book, and it's a young lady who shared her story of how she was infertile, and from that moment, she did her research on what happened, so she shared it with the world.
That's pretty awesome. All right, so the third question is, what were some of your biggest fears or expectations before becoming a mom?
I think one of my biggest fear, and A lot of people don't know this, but I'm gonna put it out now because we're real, we're authentic here. So one of my fear was not being able to have a child. That was a fear for me, not in the sense of fear like like you all hope is lost, but it was a concern. I wouldn't say it was a fear because I serve a bigger person. The one upstairs, yes, I know that he's able. I know what he had done in the past, right? And I can speak of a success story that the Lord used me, to be a blessing in somebody else's life that thought they could not get pregnant. And I had a fasting session. I was seeking God for that person. And when I seek out God for that person, He gave me an instruction to give that person. And within a month, that person was pregnant. Never think they could get pregnant. So I have that to also live on. But that was my fear though, that I might not be able to have a child at this age.
So what were your expectations then?
In terms of
becoming a mom?
I wanted to be the best mom that I can be to my child or children, but I say child because I think that's where it's in. So, so yes, I wanted to be the best mom. So, in terms of motherhood, I was basically trying not to take from this person, that person, that person, that person, because everybody's story is different. And I wanted to write my own story for me, my husband, and my child. So that story is unique to us. Not saying I don't want you to give me your input, because of course I welcome it, because no man is an island and it takes a community, right? So I listen and I'll do my own little reading and stuff on that, right? So my expectation, I didn't put anything on the table per se. I was just doing the things that is important for that.
All right, cool. Awesome. So what's the most rewarding part about becoming a mom or mother?
The most rewarding part of becoming or being a mom, which of them?
Oh, being a mom.
Okay. So the most rewarding part for me as a young mother, because I'm still a young mother, my son is still young, is developmental stages. Just seeing my son meet those milestones, and not just meet them but exceeding them. It's a joy for me as a mom. I am happy to see that he is developing fully into who God ordained him to be. Okay. And that's what I want for him as a person. So that brings me joy, and just seeing my son navigate this little world on his own at time, in his own little way, it allowed me to smile.
All right, so now you're a mom, so what are some self-care practices you found helpful as being a mom?
So okay, a mom. I
would
mom,
say
that as a mother, it's as if you have no me time for yourself. So you have to definitely make that time for yourself. Yes, you have your partner, your husband, and their help, but a mother's job is 24/7. That's what I recognize. That's what I see in this situation. Yes, you normally care for other kids, but you can say, okay, you have them, but go home to mommy and daddy now. But no, this is your child, so you have this child 24/7. What I will say before I answer that question, if you are not careful, you will you give of yourself because that's what you know best, right? And that's what you are going to do for that child. But in order to serve that child well, right, you want to be whole, you want to be well, right? So you have to be intentional now to make time for self-care practices. So what I practice for myself, I try to take some time, alone time for myself. My husband allows me to have that time in the morning for myself where it's just me, focusing on me. And I like surfing because it relaxes me. I like to pray, and I like to read my word, which is the word of God. So I'll read my Bible in between, I'll pray, and I'll surf the internet. And sometimes, to be honest with you, I will go for a shower and I just sit in the bathroom and just reground myself. Because to be honest with you, this is what people don't tell us. It's especially the early stage of motherhood. Take it from me, it's stressful. No matter how you love that child, it can be a stressful period because you're dealing with all manner of emotion, especially postpartum. And people don't talk about postpartum depression, how real that can be. So you are always conscious, if you're like me, of not wanting to get into that situation. So that's how I practice my so-called self-care practices, just to make sure that I am well.
Wow. Food for
But
thought. Food for thought. All right. So, how do you maintain your faith and relationship with God amidst the busyness of motherhood?
for me, I would say it's easy for me. Reason being, as I said earlier, before I get pregnant, before I take a child into this world, I seek God. It means that this, if I did that, then it means that God is a part of our daily routine, a part of our daily lives. And I want my son to grow up in that atmosphere. So what I do, whenever it's time for bed for him, I'll pray with him. I cannot sing, but my son likes to hear me sing, so I'll sing song with him, which is worship song. So I use those time to put back God in the midst of everything, and not just for me, but for us as a little family.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. So, who or what has been your biggest support system in your motherhood journey?
So I would say a lot of people support me, but to be specific, my husband and my immediate family, which is my extended family members, right? They are my biggest support, especially my mom and my husband. They were there for me 24/7 during this time. And I must give praise to my husband. Yes, somebody might say something out there, but it's true. Sometimes as women, we don't give the men credit. He was by my side. He never left me for a second as it relates to being pregnant, going inside the hospital to have baby, being at home, and being a parent to our son, right? He was always there supporting me. I might be feeding the baby and he's giving me some water to drink at the same time. So he was my biggest support system, which I needed, and I appreciate that.
Big up, hubby. You the boss.
Go ahead, man.
How do you think community and friendships impact motherhood?
That's a good question. For me personally, and I said me because I don't want you all come and get me. I think for me, this is what I perceive. When you become a mom, people who were there with you like before being a mom regularly, I think they kind of disappear. I don't know the reason behind it, but I think at a time that you need them the most, you don't really hear them, you don't really see them, and it left you in a state of asking many like questions. Is it because I have a child you no longer want to be friends, or you think I don't fit into your circle anymore and I should go find like people with kids now to be a part of that community? It feels that way, to be honest with you. I had a discussion and one person was honest enough to say, you know, you come and normally we'll hang out, but I'm saying, oh, you have a child now. And I'm like, my child doesn't stop me from going out and so forth. And I have somebody if I need to go somewhere, because I'm not going to dump my child off and people just go have fun. But I have somebody if I want to go out I can leave my child with, which is his grandmother, right? So I had to say that. But what I like was the honesty of that person. But I've seen friendship that I didn't hear them doing, especially when the baby just born. I never hear them, I never see them, and that time you need family and friends more. So I'm saying to you out there, if you have a friend and they're going through that period, be there for them. They need you that time more than any other time, because when they pass those stages, baby reach 8 months and all of that, I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's get better at those stages.
Understandably so. So we're moving on to our next question. What advice would you give to new moms who might feel isolated or overwhelmed?
The advice I would give, I would say, have open and honest conversation with your partner. And if your parents are alive, like your mom especially, have that conversation. Let them know how you are feeling, because it does get tiring. It does let you, especially like I said, in the newborn stage. That stage can wreck you mentally, because especially for me, I'll give an example because I'm open and honest. I was working, the job was not the best, but it pays the bill, right? Yes. So I was working, hours were long and all of that, so I was tired. And just as I was going to have to have that 2 week break to rest and prepare for birth of a child, then labor came. So it was unexpected labor, of course. So I went into labor tired. So when I came home with the baby, I was tired. Luckily, I have my mom who came and helped me, and I have my husband who was there to help me. But imagine you don't have any help. Don't succumb to that pain and tiredness all by yourself. Reach out to your community. Get the support that you need, because that can take you into postpartum depression. If you feel like you're depressed, call whomever you need to call up and say, look, come and take the baby for a moment, a week, or whatever you have to do. Do what you have to do. There was time I would just tell my mom, hold the baby, and I sleep. And the moment I sleep, I feel good. There was a time I said to my husband, I don't want to go into postpartum depression. Please take care of my son, because of how I felt. At the time, I didn't know what that was, but it was tired. I was extremely tired. I wasn't going into nothing, but I was so concerned about that, so my mind was always on that. So speak with somebody. That's all I'm saying.
Good advice. Open communication does help.
It does.
Okay, so another question. I know. If you could go back to the start of your motherhood journey, what advice would you give yourself?
If I should go back to the beginning of the journey, wow. What advice I would give myself now is, I would say, I would give myself the same advice I gave myself before, wherein I said to myself, don't just have a child because you want to have a child, but prepare for that child. And don't just say prepare by providing stuff and whatever. Yes, you want to prepare financially, you want to be prepared spiritually, and you want to prepare mentally. It's a tough journey, and it's a good one, it's a loving one, it's a fulfilling one. So the journey is fulfilling, however it has its challenges, and you want to be able to handle those challenges. So I think I would go back and tell myself the same thing all over. And if I should have another child, one thing though for sure I would do differently is, I would not be working for someone and feel this overwork, because I could have taken time a little earlier, but it's based on the time that I was taking, it was adequate for me to get that personal rest and then go into maternity leave, and then the baby would born almost a month later. But the baby decided the Friday I leave work, I'm coming Sunday.
He was like, Mom, I'm tired of this now.
Over that. But I was tired, to be fair and honest.
Don't exhaust yourself, the moral of the story, while being pregnant.
True.
Okay. All right. So, was there any scare during your pregnancy?
Yes. Yes, there was one situation. I just got pregnant, just found out that I was pregnant, and I didn't understand that the ECG, right, when you are getting, like what I was saying, more mature in the pregnancy, the one of the line get duller on the pregnancy test. I didn't know that. So I will never forget, one Friday evening I started spotting, and I was a first time mom, of course I didn't know this. I was so frightened and I thought I lost my child, and I did the test, and when I saw that the line was paler, I called up my husband who wasn't there at the time, and I said, I think we lost the baby, and I was crying and all of that, and I went to the hospital, and I was at the hospital the entire night, and I wasn't served until 1 p.m. I think it was the next evening. So I actually gave up. I didn't even eat because I thought that was it. But when I did the ultrasound, my baby was still there. He's a fighter. That's my child.
Well, glad to know.
So that did scare me, to be honest with you, because you prayed and you hope and you were living for that moment.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear you went through that. Oh my goodness. He's a joy. He's a little bundle of joy. So, another question here. Guys, we're almost through, so bear with us. What's one piece of advice you would like to share with expecting or new mothers?
One piece of advice I would like to share with I think I said that earlier. Be prepared. And being prepared is taking everything into consideration. But one major thing I would say is seek God. Put him first in everything. Put him first in the decision of having a child. Ask him question. I can tell you God will answer your question. He will show up right on time. I prayed for my child, like for example, this February my child born the next February. That's it. How amazing God is, and he perfect that which concerns you if you allow him. So put it to God. Allow him to direct your path.
Awesome. Now, how do you find time for yourself amidst all the chaos?
How do I find time for myself? As I said, my husband is supportive. It's just the three of us as a family. It's a very small family, but he's very supportive, so I get time for myself. I have personal time, and if I have to go somewhere, he will babysit and allow me to go, as well as the morning is mine and the night is mine until we're all retired to bed. So once he's home from work, he's gonna take over the child.
If you realize here, the moral of the story is have a partner who's willing to share the burden, not just leave it on you as the mother, because we know there are men out there who said you're his or her mom, so you do everything. That's not how it works, guys. Have a partner, have that discussion to ensure the burden is shared. So, describe motherhood in 3 words for me.
Oh my God, that's a hard one. 3 words. Fulfilling. Yes, it is fulfilling. It is tiring. Oh, 3. Oh my God, I'm trying to find another one. Forgive me. But I'll say it is fulfilling, it is tiring, and it's an interesting journey. And I embrace it. I don't know if I give her the 3 that she needs, but I said fulfilled, tiring, and interesting. It's interesting. Every day you learn something new.
I didn't say anything. I'm just looking at you like you glowed like you're saying lords. All right, final question. If you could sum up your experience as a mom in 1 sentence, what would that be, or what would you say?
And I'll say this. It's a journey, but one that is fulfilling and one that God is directing, because he loaned you that life. And it's a blessing to be a mom.
Indeed it is. Now guys, thank you for staying and having me. I'm Drama. She's the calm one. I hope that you found this Q&A interesting, informative, and food for thought. Alright? Bye.
So guys, thank you for watching this video, and thank you for always being here. And I hope this video has something interesting for each and every one of you, as my friend said earlier. And thank you for riding with me. Walk good. See you in the next one. Bye guys.